We are live now, so right,
Yeah.
start. Yeah. Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us. So as some of you may already know, we will be having an alumni sharing session this afternoon now. And with me here today is Mr. Muhammad Izzat Muhammad Fazil. So let me talk a little bit about Mr. Izzat before he introduces himself later on. So he graduated from MMU in Bachelor's of Creative Multimedia, Media Innovation in Advertising back in 2010. He was first with Cyberview as an executive technology program development department before moving to Malaysian Global Innovation and Creativity Center, which is MAGIC. And currently, as Magic merges with Technology Park Malaysia, they are now called Research Accelerator for Technology and Innovation, which is Meranti. So now Mr. Mohamed Izzat currently holds the position of a manager in enterprise development in Meranti. Our alumnus is also an expert in ecosystem building, partnership, and content creating, as well as a coach and mentoring professional. So Mr. Mohamed Izzat here today will share with us about startup businesses. What is it? How does it work? Some tips and tricks, how to validate your business ideas, and many more on this topic. So audience, get your pen and paper and make sure to take note about all the things Mr. Mohamed Izzat is going to say because he is the expert in this field. So also we will be opening for Q&A session towards the end of the towards the end of the talk. So without further ado, I present to you Mr. Muhammad Izzat.
Hello. Hi. Thank you, MC. And thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Med Department. Thank you, Madam Noni. And also thank you for the committee for inviting me to speak, to share my experience today. And first of all, congratulations to all the FYP students who will be showcasing for today. All the best on your next step forward. So, without further ado, I would like to talk about my presentation today. My name is Izzat. I'm one of alumni from under Media Innovation, and currently I'm working in Maranti. And for today's presentation, I would like to break to several parts of the presentation. First is about the startup, what and how, and then we go into about Maranti and how we can actually help, and also a bit of tips and tricks on in terms of how to start a business with a pitching deck. So the pitching deck encompasses everything about the business. So you could actually start with a good deck in order to create your business. Our philosophy would be the great invention starts with a good ideation process. So everything from ideation up to commercialization, it starts with a good process. And before I start, maybe I can just play a video about Moranti because this video is built by your alumni as well from MU. They actually in our department of Stratcom who doing the branding, doing the video and so on. So have a look at this.
Ideas. They're more than just ideas. They are a testament to originality and resourcefulness. Malaysia has shown, time and again, how ideas transition into
usual things, and they leverage on technology. So this is the key of a startup. They use technology in order to gain profit for their sustainability. So using technology is not just marketing, branding, video, and so on, but they in terms of their operation, in terms of the how they uh, manufacture things. They use robots, they use automation, they use drone, and they use a lot of technology in here. So this is one of the key of a startup that they usually use technology to leverage. And lastly, would be what we emphasize is a startup must have some good impact. So good impact toward environment, society. So not only you just generate a revenue, but you could, I mean, you should actually startups should actually think about the society around them, how they can help and provide some platform for people around them to earn money. Like Grab, they actually have this program of anyone who would like to grab, be the Grab driver, they can provide some so and so on. So that is something that they can actually have positive impact towards society and environment. So environment is uh, they have some initiative on green, not using paper and so on. So there's a lot of things in there. And uh, usually people will ask me or ask us on how to start a startup, how to start a startup in a in a good way or in a structured way. So we don't have any like structured way on how we start a company, start a startup, but we have something on some tips and tricks that based on what we learn from the successful entrepreneurs, successful founders and companies. So usually what they will do is emphasize on the idea generation and why you are doing this. So it's not just you want to get a revenue or something, but you must have a motive to it. So always start a problem. So usually the founders, the successful startup is looking at the problem that they want to solve with their ability, with their expertise and so on, and this will give you strong motivation and determination to go on basically. So it could be something that will drive you move forward and so on. And then the usage of innovative tools such as design thinking, business model canvas. So usually people will actually go on full blown business, just go with it, and then not thinking about any other things, just take risks and start a business. So you could do that, but at one point it might have a risk on you if you don't have any like proper savings and so on. So you could actually, before you start anything, you could actually sit down and just design things in terms of thinking of problem, thinking on the customers, and thinking what you want to do, business model, before you could actually go on the full proposal, business proposal if you want to pitch for money and so on. And also focus on the problem faced in the certain value chain. So let's say value chain in terms of designing a poster. So you could actually from ideation and then you put your design inside Adobe and do a draw or something, and then you go to a client to actually get the approval, and then you go for the printing. So in this value chain, if you find uh, any of the parts that you think have a problem, you could actually solve it because just like you want to print something, so you could actually provide a solution to make people easier to search your printers and so on. So they could be part of it that you could actually focus your focus on doing a solution and then the value date. So if you have demands, so that is a goal for you to start a business, start on the idea, and then leverage on the technology. So in any industry, be it creative, science, and so on, technology is the best enabler for business to grow because you are using technology to enable you to go far and scale. So usually in the in the creative field, you would have AR and VR. You have automation process. You have online marketing. Now you have NFTs. You could actually go in NFTs, wins a lot of artwork and so on. So there's a lot of things to be leveraged in terms of technology. And then find the sweet spots in the industry to start your business in. Basically, creative industry would be a highly competitive field. There's a lot of big agency, you have design house, and now you have your freelancers. So there's a lot of competition over there. So there's a need for you to sit down and have a look in your competitor and the gaps between the industry and then the needs within the market that you want to address, and also identify clearly on your target customer. So you have to actually profile your customers. I think inside the media innovation courses also have taught me in terms of identify your customers and so on, how they react, how you target a customer with a certain kind of profile, and how do you approach them and so on. So, for example, creating an online system that would enable easy management of a creative project, and then you connect for the potential suppliers in terms of printers, in terms of photographers, in terms of videographers. So within one click, you could actually can get all those codes from the suppliers, and delivery service would be 24/7, because if you know, in the creative industry, there's a lot of about time, so you have to be fast and so on, and you would need some consistent support in terms of delivering some services. So that's some example of finding a finding a spot that you want to address on. And also the last one would be understand your industry well enough. So I would say for this, usually people will just jump after they have graduated. They just jump and just start a business. If your luck is on your side, or you have address, you have your market and you have your solution which fit a lot of demand, and you have a lot of demand, then you'll be good. You'll be good in a good hand, and then you will earn a lot and so on. You'll be doing good in the future. But if you have some problem issues, it will affect you in everything. Your savings, your flow of career and so on. So I would say, in order to do this, you have to start somewhere. Start in a company, and then you would actually learn from how they do, and then from there you could actually identify things that you want to solve and start a business in. And after that, you have a lot of agencies that help in terms of starting business, doing technology, doing commercialization. So Moranti is one of the agencies recently established in with a merger from Magic and also TPM. TPM is Technology Publisher. So Malaysian Research Accelerator for Technology and Innovation. So we help ideas into impact in terms of using tech infrastructure. We have infrastructure, we have developmental program, and we have services for creation and commercialization, which is key in the current existing industry currently. So our mission would be in terms of creation, and then bringing ideas into impact and also commercialization. And we are highly emphasizing in terms of written on the ideas that we have, ideas on impact, ideas on innovation. So we emphasize on that. So if you have some ideas and you want to start a business, we have some kind of support system in terms of a developmental program. We guide you from developmental to the commercialization. We have digital courses, webinars, workshop, and boot camp to actually support from you have some ideas, you want to be aware in terms of technology, in terms of how to build a business and to build a innovative product and so on. We have our digital courses and webinars. And then once you have your ideas ready, you could actually go into our workshops where we have immersive experience for you to actually brainstorm with our trainers and so on. And actually, we have our assistant as well to help you in terms of incorporating your company. And after that, if you want to develop further your ideas, this is where in bootcamp we help you in terms of doing the prototype. After that, we have the step after that in terms of commercializing your product or services. And then we have something on go to market, and then you can actually expand to other region and expand to other market through our programs. So in short, we have our program from Trigger, Immerse, and also Boost, and basically giving some exposure and then giving some experiential experience and also help you in terms of building your company. Just take note on this program timeline. We have our programs lined up for this year. You could actually join. Some of them is free. Some of them like minimum fee, like 50 ringgit and so on. Like Tech Essential and Innovation Essential, you could actually join. Just sign up. And that's about our bookshop. So introduction our to our workshops, Innovation Essential is where we teach in terms of just thinking and business model canvas and how to translate your ideas into a pitch deck. And Tech Essential, if you want to learn about AI, IoT, blockchain, deep tech, and also what else? Drone tech. You could actually join our 1 day session. It's just a fundamentals for anyone who don't have any tech knowledge also can join. This is part of our workshop details. We're targeting for any university students, researchers, and lecturers. And usually, when we are in the program, we have this kind of content. Uh, I would like to bring the attention to the build pitch deck and presentation. So after you have understand the process of getting the ideas, and we will actually teach in terms of how to build a pitch deck. So pitch deck is quite crucial for you to actually uh, build your business and also get the first funding and also present to your customers. And this is our Tech Essential program. And after you have learned about the basic in the innovation essential, so you could actually go into a boot camp to actually uh, further develop your ideas into a prototype. So usually when you go into a prototype stage, you have your own team. So not necessarily you have to go in alone. So you have your own marketing person who wants to do marketing, branding, and then you have someone who is the business savviness instead of business savvy, and then you have your financial people, and then in the group you could actually develop a prototype in this bootcamp. So we will teach you from A to Z. Not to teach is a guide, and then we have a lot of experts and also mentors to guide you as well. This is some of part of the content of our bootcamp. You could actually go through all this, and in 90 to 180 days, you could actually deploy your first prototype and so on. Moving on to my last part of the presentation, talking about the pitch deck. So if you don't have any ideas or if you don't have any guide to how to start, you could actually start developing the pitch deck because inside elements inside the pitch deck could actually help you to think about how you going to go into your business, how what kind of ideas that you want. So the first step would be to understand your objective of building the pitch deck. So it's specific, is it for the funding? Is it for the partnership? Is it for the customers? And for any specific competition? And you have to identify your audience, and is it for the government, investors, or is it for the customers? And be clear on your intention and what do you want from your customers audience. Is it you want to get the funding, or you want to get some pilot project opportunities, or you want to offer sponsorship? So this could be a good flow in a pitch deck where we have experience to see a lot of pitch deck from the startup founders, where they actually present about the ideas and so on. So you start with the title, and then you have your problem statement, and also you have your own what kind of solution in terms of addressing the problem, and talking about the product, how does it work, and so on. And you can actually build some kind of illustration on how big is your market you're targeting, and what kind of business model that you are going to go in. So business model is like when you go to on the subscription model, if you want to go like a one-off pay purchasing, and then how you go to market planning, how you go to market basically, when you go into the market, how you going to partner with the existing customer, existing partners, existing competitors, how going to go into the online channel and so on. And some competitive analysis, you have to actually see inside your competitors in terms of how they doing, how they do things, and the difference with what you can actually, from here you can actually know what kind of things that you could actually address in. And then you have your own financial key metrics and your accomplishment and milestone, and then you talk about your team, and lastly would be what kind of things that you want to ask. So just a bit, I will run through a bit about each slide. The title is a normal one, and then the problems statement you could actually state in the problem that you are solving. Is basically any problem that you are facing or you experience. So you could actually spell it out in one slide for them to understand problem that you want to solve in. And then how do you actually solve the problem, and the value that you want to give in order to solve the problem. So summarize in one line, and also describe some kind of a short summary in terms of how your product and services would actually assist in terms of giving a solution to the problem. And show the product basically. If you have your mockup, how the apps is running from user clicking on the sign on, and then the dashboard and so on. I think you have a lot of experience in this. You actually have your mockup design on your apps, and everything, the flow of the apps and everything. And you could actually walk the user journey, so that people understand how to use the product, how this product would actually help in terms of addressing the problem. And this market size, usually it would be for people to know that your product and your solution have some demand in the market. So how big is your addressable market, and serviceable available market that you want to go in, and then how big you want to obtain in terms of market size. So this would be some kind of early stage of how you can actually attract people to your product and services. And this one is quite key in terms of how your business model is. So it has a lot of business model, subscription model. You have pay first, and then buy first, pay later kind of things, and then you have uh, use first for 6 months, and then after that you can actually uh, set for some kind of installment process and so on. So this is where you get creative in terms of business model addressing, but you have to understand your metrics, financial metrics, in terms of how your costs, your delivery service, and so on. So this could be something that could actually get people interested to your product or services. And then how do you go to market? So currently maybe your market is quite full, and how do you go in as a new product? You go into social media, and then you have your own partners, and then you are doing some booth uh, active generation of activities and so on. So this is some kind of how do you go bring your market, bring your product to market. And you have your competitive analysis. You show your competitors, and basically, if your product or services don't have any market, don't have any competitors around it, so you are the I would say the first one to do it. So it would carry more weight in terms of people want to subscribe to your services and product services. And usually you have your own financial. This is where you sit in the team. You have your own financial. Your team who is very well versed in the financial things. So this is where you put inside of revenue, cost, profit, margin, and how long is the break even, and how long you can sustain your business. And if you have any achievement in terms of getting a first customer, and then how many downloads that you have. This could be some slide that could show your current achievement and also what you want to achieve in the future. And milestone would be your more towards your product roadmap. So you have to have a plan. Once you have your startup and you have your ideas, you must have a plan in terms of how long you're going to take to develop your product, and how long you're going to take in terms of going to market, and how long to get the first customer, and what is your plan, when is you're targeting to go into business with business, not just business to customers, B2C to B2B. So everything you can spell out in here so that people will understand your plan, and they know that you have a solid program, solid plan in terms of your product or services or your business. And the team. So the team is where you could actually list down on your teams and the capability and the experience before, if they have experience in Petronas, if they have experience on building the startups. So this is where people could see that your team is well capable of pulling this off. And the ask, reiterate on what are you looking for from the listener, from your audience, and how, what is it for them. So if they actually give funding of 100,000, and what do they get out of it, and how long they actually could get their money, and how much they could earn in terms of profit. So this is where you could actually spell out everything. If you are requesting for funding, you have to build some kind of pie chart to show what kind of things that you want to do when you want to have to spend this money. Some do and don'ts. This is based on our experience before. Keep it simple. So they just show that you are confident enough in terms of your market, and you have your own data to back up, and you know your audience, and you have your own USP, users unique selling point, and you're also passionate, and also finish off with a call to action, because presentation as a presentation without a call to action, so people won't know what you want. So you have to tell them that what kind of things that you want. You want the funding, you want a potential project, or you want partnership, you want sponsorship. So this deck would actually you could use any things that you want to illustrate your points and so on. And then don't read from slide. So we have encountered a lot of founders that read from the slide and they don't have any eye interaction and they just read and keep it boring basically to they bore their audience. And usually startup founders is quite defensive on their ideas. They want if they want A, so they stick with A. So they don't want to accept any ideas from any of the audience that they presenting. So they become defensive and they did not see the potential of the idea or the feedback that people are giving. And don't be afraid to ask for money. And then you have your own competitors, so don't deny it. So you have to see the competitors and how they do. So sometimes people already do things in your market, in your things that you want to do. So you don't have to create a new way of doing. So you could actually see what they do and see the weaknesses and the gaps. You could actually do the same thing and improve in terms of addressing the gaps. And you could actually overcome your competitor in that way. And then we have a lot of risks when creating a business, and don't forget your research. Stumble your pitch usually this because of a nervous and also don't quite well prepared and don't oversell it. So we have a lot of founders, we have a lot of CEO of company that shock sendiri. Shock sendiri is the word. Usually they have the ideas and they think that the ideas is good enough. When they present the idea is not so much different from 100 people of 100 people who is already in the business. So don't oversell and also don't be confident in terms of your idea. And then not to dance around on questions. So there's a lot of question for people. So don't just keep on attempting to answer. So some of the question left you can just stop and also refer to the next time when you are ready to understand to answer. And then some extra tips of presentation in terms of when you present, you have your tone. If you pause, clear voice, and your pacing also, you must. It is the key to a good presentation. And then keep it like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So usually completion is 10 minutes. Be confident, smile and enjoy. If you because you are the subject matter expert, so you know your product. So be excited to tell people about your product and know your stuff in and out, and then don't just use the buzzword. So there's a lot of people using buzzword in terms of the AI, but they don't understand about AI, so it will backfire you. Dress well, anticipate questions, and keep simple and not distracting. I think that's all from me. Bringing talking about how to start about startup, talking about startup and how you will start, how do you start, and then how do we actually Meranti help you in terms of building your business, and also how do you use your pitch deck to actually start your business. And thank you. I pass back to MC if you want to start the Q&A.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Izzat. So right now we're opening to the floor for any questions if you guys have any. Before we get collecting to the questions, Ms. Iza, I do have a questions regarding the bootcamp and workshops.
Okay.
Just wondering, do you guys accept young entrepreneurs? And young entrepreneurs in my context is like maybe you know how some all right, you know some students nowadays they already like macam have kind of like an established ideas for
Mm,
business. So
okay.
I'm just wondering if you guys do accept those kind of young entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Yes, we do accept. So entrepreneurs, we define as usually youth belia. So anyone who have some ideas and eligible to apply, I mean to register a company would actually have some opportunity to join our program. And because we encourage to anyone, any students, because you have a lot of ideas and also the passion and also uh, the energy to actually build a business. So great students would be the perfect candidates to our program actually.
We're actually asking from the live audience as well.
Okay,
So,
no problem.
all right. So that's a question from the YouTube live. The first one is how long is the workshops usually?
Okay.
All right. So that's a question from.
So usually the workshop, if you are talking about tech essentials, it is a 1 day program, and innovation essential it is 2 to 4 days. It depends on the program itinerary and our program partners. So usually the first day would be design thinking, and then the first 2 days is design thinking, and then the third day would be business model canvas and also the pitch deck. And the fourth day, I mean the third or fourth day would be a lot of on ESG, on commercialization and IP. So I think max is 4 days, and it is virtual for this year. I would assume because the situation is quite not healthy currently. We we may do this on a virtual platform.
I see. Okay, thank you. And the other question is, can we pitch the ideas to Brandy without having to go through the workshop process?
Can, sure, you can actually pitch your ideas to me, and then after that, I could actually assess or give some kind of feedback and so on. Because we have our mentoring platform as well, and some of our us volunteers uh, like to hear new ideas and how we can actually help from our side, or we can actually funnel to our partners. So I think without having to go to our workshop, you could actually reach out to me or anyone from Moranti who would like to pitch your ideas.
I see. Thank you so much for the insights, Mr. Mama Izzat. Uh, and I think we don't have any more questions
Okay.
regarding this. So, can we know like again? Can you tell us like how can we join the workshop and the bootcamp?
Okay. You could head to our website, www.moranti.com.my. mind. So any programs that we have, we will post it there, or you could actually follow us in FB, Instagram, Twitter. So a lot of programs will be announced there, and you could just sign up from there.
I see. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mama Izzat. Thank you so much for spending your time with us amidst your busy schedule.
No
And
problem. It's Sunday when we.
yeah, it's Sunday. So yeah, we're hoping to meet each other again soon. Maybe probably in the in pitching session, maybe.
Yep, yep. Sure, sure.
All right. So thank you very much, and yeah, that is all for this afternoon. Maybe we would like to have like a photo group session. Just a screenshot. All right. One, two. Okay. One, two. All right. Right, taken. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Izzat. Hoping
All
to
right.
see you soon when I
Thank you
reach
so
the
much.
farm. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. See you
Assalamualaikum.
soon.
Bye.
Salam.